So the first new ICAST product we have today is with the new Lews Spool LFS casting reel. It's really a new gear ratio, but you have some experience, I guess, kind of with you have history with this reel, right? Or the family reels, correct?
Right, it's the Speed Spool. I mean, it's the Speed Spool edition. I mean, that's what it is, and they sent it to me because Lews kind of knows, like they kind of know what guys throw what, and I was introduced to Lews years and years ago by a guy, and he came up and gave me like a Speed Spool, like one of the first ones ever, and I was like, I was kind of with the other reels, been using reels for when I was a kid, and I was like, man, this is the first Lews reel I'd ever done, put in my hands. And that's the one he gave me. And I used that thing for years. And all of a sudden, I'm a guy of habit, right? If I like something, I go buy more of it. And I'm not going to go like look at the Lews stuff and go, I'm going to buy all these different reels. I'm like, no, that's the reel I like. I'm going to keep buying those reels. And so I still to this day have those same Lews reels from 5-6 years ago. And they're the same Speed Spools. They're just now coming out with newer versions of it, a lot of reels back in the day, 15 years ago, I mean, nothing was over like a 5-to-1 or a 6-to-1, right? I mean, if you ever go back to those reels, you look, 20 years ago, like, man, we'd have to crank so hard on some of these reels to get, they weren't crankbait reels, they were just regular reels. And so now they're getting better, they're getting higher gear ratios, like this 8:3-to-1. And I'm a guy who almost always throws a higher gear ratio. I'm not saying that most people, but I look for higher gear ratios. I almost never go the opposite direction. So like if they keep on bringing them out, I'm going to keep on getting ones with higher gear ratios.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'd rather have the higher gear ratio. To me, I'd rather have to try to make myself slow down, which is it's tough for me, but I like the ability. I can always go fast, and I don't play the fish down as much as I probably should. I try to get in the boat as fast as I can and pick up line and get back out there when I'm casting and stuff. I like that higher gear ratio. Is there a specific instance in general where you see the 8:3-to-1 shining, or a use case or technique, or for you is that kind of going to be your all-around gear ratio for everyday use?
Well, yeah, I mean, I tend to, there's always going to be things, I'm like you, I'm not worried. I can always slow down, but I can never speed up. Right? I mean, there's a limit to how fast you can go. And it's really not so much about reeling a bait in. Like, so I use as high gear ratios when I'm worm fishing. And the reason is, I mean, all you're doing out there, the only time you really need that reel is when you're fighting a fish. And if a fish starts to make a run or you need to catch up to it, that's where that gear ratio comes in. So, I never worry about having a high, a low gear ratio when worming. So like there's an application. You could be Carolina rigging, throwing a jig, anything where I think I need to reel in a lot of slack, maybe before I set the hook or while fighting a fish, anything with braid. And the reason I want it with braid a lot of times is because there's no stretch. And so since there's no stretch, you're like, well, it kind of seems like it'd be the opposite. But what happens is when there's no stretch and they make a run, to the side, like if you're in really shallow water, they'll go to the side real fast, almost like a redfish, right? And that no stretch, I mean, they're gone and your rod doesn't have a time to load with them. So, I mean, you have to keep that pressure on them really, really quick. And so that's why I like high gear ratios. That's why I like this new LFS. I mean, giving us more options with the same, this is the same reel. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks the same, it feels the same as all those Speed Spool reels that they had forever. It's just a better gear ratio or a higher gear ratio that can be used for different applications.
Very nice. And I noticed it's available in the left-hand model now for both those. And like I'm a left-hand guy, so I'd be really stoked on that. If you guys want to pick up one of the new LFS 8:3-to-1s, they're available for pre-order right now in Tackle Warehouse. So make sure to go check those guys out and get you one pre-ordered up.